Okay. I'm just going to keep adding to this every day. Because me and journals, we don't get along very well. Plus, I'm not. My hand gets irritated at myself when I try to write for too long. So, I'm just going to talk. I'm going to answer these questions as if just the first thing that pops into my mind. Take it for what you believe it to be. The paradox. If everything is connected, why does loneliness exist? My belief is loneliness that only exists because of people's built-in fears. People's fear of what other people are going to say or think, or how they're going to judge them, and it's crippled people, unfortunately. And you have to just break free of that, and you have to realize what's on the internet is not real life, and people don't really act like that. Most people are really nice. Black people, white people, Mexican people, Chinese people, gangbangers, rednecks, they're all generally nice. I mean, yeah, you can do things to make each of them mad, but I'm a white guy. You can call me every name in the book. I'm not going to get mad at you. I'm just going to look at you like, are you that bored or something? You have to learn to let those things just shoot, because it doesn't matter. Usually it's just someone else objectifying or whatever, objecting their beliefs of themselves onto you. That happens a lot, especially with women. Like, don't you be cheating, don't you be going out, you be doing all this and talking to all these hoes. What happens when you go out with all your girlfriends? You ain't talking to all them hoes, are you? To be truly free, one must surrender. In a sense, yeah. You have to surrender to your ego. That's the main thing. You have to surrender to your ego. You have to no longer be like, I know what's best. I know what people think of me. I know how to be rich. I know that I'm the person that's got it all figured out. Because one thing that you don't ever really know anything, I think. You know what someone else thinks they know that told you this information. And that goes all the way back to the beginning. When you were a baby, you could have came out and you could have shot out a big old donkey turd, and your mom could have went, look, a rainbow unicorn. And if she said that for the entirety of your life, that would be a rainbow unicorn. And right now you'd be entering horse parades backwards, naked. So, sorry, I don't know where that went. But you don't really know anything. So you have to change your perception. If you perceive that people think that you're bad, if you think people think that you're bad, usually it's because you have doubt in yourself. If you can get past your own personal doubt and past your own personal things about yourself, and just think, I can't go back and fix it. I can't change it. I can apologize, and one thing I can do, I can make it up for the rest of my life. I can be kind to every person that I've come across. I can let those things bounce off of me like it's nothing. That can easily change and help you. And when you do that, that's kind of the thing. When you start doing those things, that's what brings in other people of like minds, because then they realize they don't have to just try to fit in. And you're all just together in, weird as it sounds, love. You're just together in a place of, we're all coming from wanting to get to know each other, wanting to be close. None of the other stuff matters. You're going to dress like a donkey on the weekends, have at it. More power to you. I don't care. But it's not an identity, We don't have to worry about those kind of weird things. But when you start doing these things, it's the same thing as like people say, if you go to church, your life ends up good. Well, that also is because most of the time if you go to church, you're in a two-parent household, which makes things easier. Well, so money's easier, so you get to go on more trips, so you get to do more things. So also if you go to church, you end up meeting other people. If you are single, you meet like-minded people, so you can end up in a relationship, or you end up getting and doing activities. So regardless of if your religion or whatever you want to use that as, it's all the same basic principle. You have to get cool with yourself. You have to realize you may have problems, other people have problems, but what you think they think your problems are, most of the time are nowhere near what they actually are. So you just have to do something different. And look stupid sometimes. Promise you. If I had a video camera that followed me around all the time, I'd be a millionaire, because I'm a straight tard by myself. I talk to myself so much. Like, it's kind of embarrassing to even think about, but anyways. And remember, like all the stuff that I'm saying, I just chat GPT, like what would you ask the most deepest of deep questions, and what would your answer be if you got to ask whoever had that information? Because something happened to me. I died. I woke up. I had a lot of stuff put in my head. Some of it I forgot. Some of it I haven't. Sounds crazy. Can't tell people that. People think you're schizophrenic. Whatever else. Predicting shit. Meeting people. Reading their mind before they can say anything. Like, and I can explain it all the way down to like the scientific level. Yeah. So it sounds weird, but like I can really get into it. It works a lot easier when people ask me questions, because the first instinct, the first thing that I have to say is always right. I don't know why. Don't know why. But if opposites define each other, can good exist without evil, or are they two hands of the same being? No. Everything's binary. There's good, bad, yes, no, right, wrong. So if there's a good, yes, there is a bad. But if there wasn't a bad, how could you even have a good to begin with? How could anything be good if you didn't have something to compare it to? Like, oh, that guy smells like rhinoceros nuts. Okay, well, how do you know that? That might be a totally good thing, you know? That's besides the point. But just assuming that that was bad, like you would have to have something to compare things to. So there has to be bad. So yeah. And if opposites define each other, usually they're just mirrors. That's why opposites attract. Because when you put the energy together, if you want to get scientific, when you put the energy together, it balances it out. Because if you have someone that's real narcissistic and likes to talk a lot and likes to get all their crap out, and you have someone who's quiet and reserved and patient and can absorb a lot, they work together better. If you got two people that are fired up, salespeople who live in Miami or something, and they're both 100 miles an hour, you know, I just don't see how that works out very well. But yeah, there has to be an opposite to everything. That's the same as the mirror principle thing. If you literally, if you say you do not want something, what's the most likely thing that's going to happen? That's the way it works, because your subconscious focuses on it. Say that the universe is here for you. The universe knows what you want. The universe is doing exactly what it's here to do. You have to learn how to change all of the programming that we've been indoctrinated into changing out of the scarcity mindset where, oh, if I don't do this, my bills are going to run out. If I don't do this, people are going to be mad at me. If I act this way, this is going to happen. That's how we've been programmed. Do the opposite of that. It doesn't matter what anybody says about it. Well, what are they going to do to you? Laugh at you? Is that supposed to bother you or something? If someone fires you because you are being normal and not falling into their little clique, you don't want to work there. That's not a place you want to be anyways. If your family doesn't love you anymore because you like a certain person because they just align with what you think in your brain, but yet won't sit and talk to you about it. If y'all talk and there's a legitimate argument, but if there's not even that, do you want those people in your life? I mean, I've had to cut out people who've done me really wrong, and it's all family. And I have to take care of family at this very moment, who were the ones who did these things to me. So talking about having to suck it up and take one for the team, patience is a virtue. When we try to control life, does life begin controlling us? Well, yeah, if you try to control life, just think of it in the terms of manifesting things. Like if you get up every day and you're like, I'm going to work out, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go and I'm going to network and I'm going to make all these different phone calls, you're doing the exact same thing that you would be if you did it from a calm nature, but you're putting your oomph behind it. You're putting your name out there. You're going to get drawn in by a bunch of these same types of people. Wather, is that a word? I wather my hair with some soap. But rather than being patient and being kind and coming at things from not a controlling standpoint, but a gratitude. Like, thank God for this life. Thank God for having the people I have around me. Thank God for giving me the ability to just put this out here so maybe one person might hear it and think, life sucks ass. It's not getting any better. These president people are just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again, and every few years they'll tell us that they're going to do something different. I mean, so it has to change in here. But with enough of us, that's where things get really fun. That's the reason there's influencers. That's the reason they do rituals at crowds where there's big bunch of people. It's a lot of energy. A lot of energy. Why do you think cults happen? It's just an energy transfer. When you find one person you resonate with and then you all get on that same page, the darndest things can happen. Is the truth a single point or the tension between contradictions? The truth is a definitive point. Truth is not something that can be nuanced or whatever they call it. This vanilla bourbon coffee is good. I hate alcohol and it don't taste like alcohol, which is totally weird. Anyways, but yeah, that's the whole reason Trump won the election. That's the whole reason why most people now having the Israel-Gaza debate, like Dave Smith, who is my man. He's going to be president, by the way. But that's the reason he can win any debate on earth, because he's just simply having to say the truth. Because people have backed themselves into these crazy corners, and they haven't even, they thought that the media was going to manipulate everybody to the point where they would go along with it. All that caved in. So now the simplest thing to do is just say the truth. And the truth will set you free. It's in every single book. It's in Bible. It's in everything. The tension between contradictions, it's people trying to dodge the truth. Or people trying to find wiggle room. People who know deep down in their soul that they don't think that they can follow the rules at all times, forever. So they'll make excuses. Otherwise, you can just say, yeah, I want to be truthful. What's the worst thing? What's the worst possible thing anyone can do to you? They can kill you. Well, you can come back from that now. Sorry, you don't die actually, but that's another story. And other than that, well, they're gonna put you in jail. Oh no, you mean you're gonna pay my rent and feed me 3 meals a day and let me work out for free for a year or two? Oh no. So they wonder why young black men don't care to go. Well, their father figures are in there. I mean, it's just so ridiculous. It's just all so stupid. This whole fear, scare everybody into submission, has totally backfired, and it's fixing to backfire even more. If the journey is the destination, why do we still long to arrive? For that precise reason. People have been living by fear tactics and scarcity rules and laws. Like, if it was up to me right now, I would say, hey, let's get a group of guys together, girls. Let's get like 50 people. Let's just go to like Argentina or some random beach. Let's just go down there and meditate, like hang out, swim with the fish, see things. I can't do that. I don't have the money to do that. I've got my grandmother. Like, I don't even remember the last time I've been on vacation. But do you know how many people are like that? So the people who do it all the time, it's no big deal. And that's the people who make the laws. And if the journey is the destination, why do we still long to arrive? Because we're waiting for this to end. But when you finally come to grips with yourself, when you finally come to grips with, okay, this is my problem. I perceive all of these negative things. I'm not a bad mother just because someone tells me that I should do something else. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what they're saying. I'm just taking it out of context rather than sitting and contemplating and thinking about it. Then I'm getting on TikTok and watching videos of other people living their fantastic lives, not realizing that all that's purposefully done. You have a good life. You're alive. You're eating food. You have family, hopefully. I mean, I got one. I'm gracious for that. So, when we search for meaning, do we create it or reveal what was always there? I don't think you can search for meaning. I think the way it works is you find yourself. You come to grips with yourself. You finally become aware, is what I like to say. You become aware of how much you've been lied to. You become aware of how bad things actually are with other people. You become aware of how manipulative people are. You become aware of how much money's been wasted. You become aware of just all of these different things. And then maybe in there you might remember why you're here in the first place, which does happen. And then you realize, what if I am in this big video game? And what if the sole purpose was for me just to see how hard things could possibly be? So whenever I come back, it's freaking awesome. And the amount of love I'll feel, there's no words. Like, there's literally not even words in there for that. Well, that's what happens in my world. So, being afraid of death, being afraid of worrying about meaning, just come to grips with yourself. Don't let anything bother you. Let things brush off of you. Do the pendulum thing like I do. When you hear something negative, like your cousin's going to go to prison for 25 years to life, your nephew, or he's got to go to court and have a trial. Well, if the only reason that he has to do 25 years of life is because his mother put him there when he was 15, and his mother never admitted to her wrongdoing or was accountable for anything, so she's totally okay with it, of course, which is horrendous. Don't look at the negative side. That pendulum, when it came by and I said, Oh my God, for 25 years of life, then probation for the rest of your life, and you get out. Nope, I set back. The pendulum came back. And when it came back by, I hopped on that bad boy like a Miley Cyrus, and I wrecking balled that thing right into. Now he gets to go to court. Now he gets to explain himself. Now he gets to discovery. You get to see where all the information came from. You get to see what's really been going on. It doesn't get any better than that, because otherwise that would never happen. So sometimes you just have to hang on. And that's another thing I've learned in life. A lot of kids can't really wrap their head around. A lot of grown kids, even like my age, like I'm almost 50, but whatever. You always assume your parents are smarter than you. You always assume they're more knowledgeable. That's not necessarily the case. Especially if they grew up in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, because they watched the news, which was a couple channels, a couple people. They could tell you whatever they wanted to. So any which way you look at it, at some point you're going to be smarter than them in that respect. And you're never going to be able to have that conversation until they're able to look in themselves in the mirror and say, you messed up. You may have made some mistakes. That's the hardest thing to do. If you're really going to try something hard, sit and look at yourself in the mirror. And just look at yourself and think, you're a wonderful person. I forgive you. I trust you. No matter what, I know you're worthy. I know you're strong. And you will always be that way. Do that for yourself. It's hard. Can one be humble in knowing they are infinite? Well, I know I don't die. And yeah, I'm humble. Because that gives, wow, if that's the case, if I'm infinite, for instance, just if I'm infinite, why am I infinite? There has to be a reason. So what would that be? Well, I believe it's to help people. Like, cure people. And so, yeah, you have to be humble, because ego is the killer of all. So you have to be humble. But you have to be humble to an extent where you can't be taken advantage of, because I have a bad habit of letting that happen. Is enlightenment the greatest awakening, or the gentlest forgetting? Enlightenment is the greatest awakening and the gentlest forgetting. I guess they're meaning at you're having to forget your past. You're having to let go of what you've held against yourself in the past. So you have to let all of that go. And the greatest part is you remember why you're here. You remember what else there is. You remember who you're going to see at the end. You remember you can't fucking die. You remember, obviously, this is why they've been going so hard doing all this stuff in Hollywood, and the way they act, all the movies. It literally just explains the exact same stuff that you can look up. We just haven't been privy to this information. I don't even know if I'll be able to put it on here, but I'm just talking to myself. Keeping a journal, because I don't like to write. And I'm playing with my magnets, because they remind me You got to think about this. If you were born with power, enough power to like for radio waves, whatever else, psychic power, any kind of power, your cheese or whatever it's called. If you were never told how to handle that or what to do with it or how to even summon it, you wouldn't think it was possible. So you think people like that's crazy. Unless you went to a special school, like Hogwarts or something. But where they told you how to do it. I mean, there's these schools in there, all the movies. There's actual mystical schools. You can Google them. Well, my magnets remind me, when you turn them around, that feeling right there, that's the amount of power that I can feel, that I can push out. In my brain, that's how I can equate it. So, once everybody learns to do that, you can kind of guess why that information wouldn't be let out. But all of this stuff is literally researchable. I mean, you just go, the Monroe Institute, there's a million different ones. Yeah, so I guess I'll just leave it at that for today. But God bless. I love you all. Keep asking questions.